So what's up, mofos? I know it seemed like almost like we can't get a break, right? They just convicted, Derek Chauvin. You know what I mean? So, but don't get it confused. You can't be convicted on every level of one crime. So they're just gonna go with the top charge, which is the second-degree murder with the maximum penalty of like 40 years. They're gonna go with that rather than the, you can't charge somebody with third-degree murder, second-degree murder, and manslaughter, because believe you me, as much as you would want him to get that, the person that's gonna work out for the worst is black people. And when I say black people, I don't mean dark-skinned people who they believe came from Africa. Black people are poor people. That's the difference between white and black, is rich and poor. But anyway, so now since then you had the Dante Wright, he got shot in the side, and then they just shot that 15-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio, and this is on the day of. And if you think that that's getting really slowed down, you think that the National Order of Police, or whatever they call themselves, are gonna sit down and take that lightly. You got to be more diligent about these dudes right now, because you don't know what's gonna happen next. And then, so look, with that, I also been giving it some thought as to everybody saying like, police reform and defund the cops. And you know what the cops gonna do about that? What they've been doing in New York? They're gonna be present in downtown and midtown and the nice parts of the Bronx, and I mean like Throgs Neck, Pelham, Riverdale. Yeah, Riverdale's in the Bronx. Don't let them lie to you. And don't defund them, because what they're going to do is they're going to do all of their homework during that time and make sure that those people is good, but they're going to let the hoods where people get killed, know what I'm saying? They're going to let them ride. Because if you catch enough bodies in the hood, it don't matter what happens next. It's just going to be on. And that's what they're working on right now. My alternative is this, right? Oh, whatever happened to IAB? Whatever happened to the Internal Affairs Bureau? Whatever happened to them, right? Because it's like a cop kills somebody, and then they say, oh, we did our own investigation, and they're gone. IAB should be a whole separate entity, and they should be on patrol also, especially in those high crime areas. Because high crime, to me, growing up, what I realized meant, especially in the Bronx, right, is the project, city-owned property. All of a sudden, those are high crime areas. You know why they high crime areas? Because in any other place in America, you couldn't fit a quarter of the amount of people that they stuffing into one place in the Bronx. So you got several low-income families, and when I say several, I mean hundreds, sometimes thousands, living within 3 square blocks. I know where I grew up, there was at least, I think, 2,000 apartments, and it's only 3 square blocks. Not even 3 square blocks, just 3 blocks, whole blocks. I believe that they should take some of that money. Don't worry about defunding the cops or hiring new people. Why the fuck would I start up a whole new entity so that y'all can steal money? The New York City Police Department is getting $6 billion a year. Billion. They'd rather watch this city burn to dust before they give some of that money back. So what you need to do is split it, create an IAB that patrols, so that they on deck, a whole separate entity, that these are people who could run down on the cops. Because look, community being there, cameras rolling, did nothing for George Floyd. We're talking about 8 people, 10 people with a camera, little kids. The people who actually called the cops came outside and said, yo, what are you doing? They still said, fuck it, we do what we want. Right? They called in more people. All them people did was help them. Right? They called the cops on the cops. The cops who came did nothing but help them. Right? And it must be so nasty out there in Minnesota. Think about how nasty it gotta be where cops are telling on cops. And if you look at it, the cops who got on the stand for the most part were of color or of some ethnicity. You know what it is? The reason why they even pulled over, like, okay, just side note, the reason why they pulled over Dante Wright was because he had air fresheners on the mirror. I never put air fresheners on the mirror because they say it's an obstruction of what you can see, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I would never put that up because I would never give y'all a reason to pull me over. I wear my seatbelt all the time. I don't got no tints. You know why I don't got no tints? Because I don't want you pulling me over. Because once the cops pull you over, they like tow truck drivers. right? They just waiting to hook you up. They just want to hook you up. You come in and be like, yo, my mom's getting on my nerves, or my girl said blah, 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 or my man said he was going to slap me. Well, if you tell them your man was going to slap you, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, you know what, man, you want us to take him? We can take him for terroristic threats. What are terroristic threats? That's when you threaten to do harm to somebody. Just like that cop who pulled over that military guy down there in Norfolk, Virginia. Think about this. If the military ain't safe in fucking Virginia, that's where our military is. Our military is like pretty much predominantly based in those states. You know, Kentucky, Virginia, all that kind of stuff, right? All those places. So if a man in uniform, if a colored person in uniform, and I don't mean colored, because this shit don't make no sense. Think about this shit, right? Think about this, right? Think about this, right? The powers that be called black people and colored people or any ethnicity niggas for years. You a nigga. You a nigga. And they said, oh, I don't want to be a nigga. And it's like, oh, what is a nigga? Say, oh, a nigga's a dumb, blah, 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 blah. I know plenty of black people. Most of them are not dumb. Right? So what happened was the Oprahs and the fucking Samuel L. Jacksons and all these uppity, pish-poshy, fucking Spike Lee ass niggas saying that, yo, you can't say the word nigga. Right? But then you allowed them to fucking rename you. How you gonna be like this? Yo, my name is Dylan. And they say, oh shit, yo, you mind if I call you Robert? Yeah, no, I don't like it. I don't like being called Robert. They say, oh, fuck it, we're gonna call you Tree. You say, hey, you know what? That's better. I'd rather be called nigga. You know why I'd rather be called nigga? Because at least it identifies who the fuck I am. If I allow you to change my name from nigga to African American to black, because that's what the blacks like to be called now. You know, the niggas don't like to be called niggas no more. They like to be called Negroes or African Americans. That's weird. Why the fuck would I ever want to be called an African American when I don't own dual citizenship to no fucking where? I can't go to Africa. Africans don't like us. For some weird ass reason. They think they better than us too. So why the fuck would I want to be black or African American? Why the fuck would I want to be black? What country is black? So I could know. Just so I could know where I'm supposed to be at. This shit don't make no sense, my man. They need to create, you know what? The organization already exists, and what they need to do is focus on empowering that organization and make it IAB, and I bet you'll get a whole new class of recruits. You know what also bugs me out? Why cops, it's like, you know, you gotta have 2 years college. You know why you gotta have 2 years college to be a cop? Not because you gotta have a degree in criminal justice. I know mad people who got degrees in criminal justice. That's like having a degree in liberal arts. Shit is about nothing. You know what that's about? That means, you know what that company knows by that? If you just got out of college and you got a degree in liberal arts or criminal justice, that you didn't spend none of your time in college learning anything important, but now you still have those college debts. So therefore, you are more likely to stay at work due to the fact that your debt versus income ratio is off. Right? And if you was willing to go to college for 2 years and the only thing you came away with was a fucking criminal justice degree or a fucking liberal arts degree, then we know that you're not motivated to go find nothing new. I went to college. I went to college for photography, and I went for psychology. At the time I was cooking. I ended up getting a raise to like $85,000. My college professor told me that it was probably a better idea for me not to come to work. I mean, not to come to school anymore. He said, because you're going to go to school for 4 years, you're going to owe $120,000 because it's $30,000 a year, and at the end of that, I'd only be eligible for a job making about $45,000 a year. He said I was making more money then than I would when I was done, and it didn't make more sense to come here. And I agreed, so I left. But what I want to tell you right now is that we need a new IAB, an Internal Affairs Investigation Bureau, whatever the fuck. You need those people. You know why we need them? Because you need them on patrol. Not when you get it across the desk and then you got the police union breathing on your neck, which is a whole nother thing, right? All these people talking about the police, you need police reform. It's not the police department that you're worried about. It's the police union. You know why? Because they're threatening to strike. And what I would do is go in and first fire everybody who works right now at the police department and is a part of and is a union head. You want to know why? Because if you want to put your 2 cents in, it's not going to be from inside my fucking pocket. Right? And then you got these cops and it's like, what do you want me to do? You want to tie our hands? You want to know why? Because it's not beneficial for a cop at all in no way to stop a crime from occurring before somebody is liable for it. Right? So if you call and you say, well, my husband seems really angry and I think he might slap the shit out of me. The cop's going to say, well, ma'am, he hasn't done anything to you yet. Right? And you say, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to get there? You want me to get fucked up? And they're going to say, I don't know. Hey, listen, you know what? We're going to send out a car. And I'm going to tell you some truth to this too. Right? So if you believe yourself to be overweight, right, and you think that you're not the most attractive person, the cops are going to come and they're going to say, hey, listen, you know, I don't really know what's going on. If he didn't put his hands on you, it's no big problem. I personally, Dylan, have had problems where the neighbors call the police because me and my girlfriend is arguing. She opened the door. They think she's fire. And they start saying shit like, you know, all you got to do is let us know, like, what did he say to you? Because all these cops feel like when they come to a domestic violence thing, that one of these motherfuckers are going to leave with your broad if they arrest you. I've heard from cops in real life. And if you don't believe me, you know, all you got to do is question my comments, and I'll tell you which one of them it was. I actually know him. Well, I don't know him. I didn't like him. I met the nigga in a bar. But these motherfuckers ain't shit. If you look around New York City, if you stare at a cop, they act like gang members. All you gotta do is stare at them. You stare at them, they're gonna ask you what the fuck you looking at. They're gonna come over, hands on the wall. They wanna frisk you and fill your nuts. Right? And then these cops that live out there in Columbus and Minnesota, well, you're not even getting this type of action. Right? You watch that Derek Chauvin video, right? You watch all of it. The two cops who had George Floyd in the beginning had him. They had him. They might have been new cops, but they had him. They was going to get him in there. He was going. They realized that it was better to take a little bit of time rather than force the issue from the beginning. Soon as Derek Chauvin got involved, the shit went the other way. Right? They looking around the court today because, yesterday when they got sentenced, they looking around because they know, I bet you the appeal is already in. Right? So we looking at about a dime piece. Right? That lady who went down there in Texas and shot the dude in his own house, black dude just eating ice cream on his couch and she felt like somebody was in her house. Bitch, this ain't your fucking furniture and you know that shit. Or let me guess, you was so tired you walked into your house without your keys, right? Because your key didn't fit in the door now, did it? But they gave her ass right up and she went right to jail. Same thing like the Dante Wright, right? You see how the cops treat women? Women cops should think about that shit. Women police, I'm talking to you, right? Because soon as that lady shot that guy down in Texas, right, in her crib, police flipped right on her. They sent her right to jail. She was on trial in less than a year and convicted and put away. Look at the Dante Wright. Them niggas gave up the police video the next day. Before lawyers even looked at it, before they could put their spin on it, nothing. They handed over the video. She got cuffed and stuff the next day. She went from being a cop to seeing a cop. Right? That don't like women police, you should know that, right? I saw this video one time with this girl, like it was a lady out in I want to say it was like New Mexico. She pulled over this guy. Dude shot through the door, clapped her twice on her hand. She shot back, blew the tires, chased him down. They kept her on the side of the road for an hour while they questioned her about why she shot at the other guy. So women police, I implore you to find another profession. Y'all should all join IAB. I believe that all women police should join IAB. You want to know why? Because you might think you tough and you really believe I can handle this job. Yeah, and there's no doubt in my mind. My girl run my life right now. What I'm telling you is that they will trade on you in a heartbeat. They will ship your ass in. We got to give somebody up. It's something else I want to tell you, right? So all you women police who think that, you on the job and they got you. The only reason why women got voting rights, and this is not because I'm some sort of chauvinist. Women only got voting rights because they was going to get ready to have to give them to black men. And they say, you know what? My wife will vote before that nigga. And that's why I don't mind being called a nigga, because at least I know who the fuck I am, right? When you say you black, who the fuck are you? Who are you? And where are you from? So I can know. Listen to me, man. The world is not changing. It's been the same. It's been like this. I was talking. Listen. What we need to do is press for IAB to have its own division and get them some quotas. Let's put some numbers on them. Right? Because that's what these cops could tell you, right? When you watch all those shows about cops saying like, you know, oh, it's stereotypes and blah, blah, blah. And they saying like, yo, it went from quotas and know that now there's no more quotas and now it's just cop stat. Right? And that's what we got to do. We need to get an IAB who's on patrol in those same neighborhoods where that Chinese guy, check it, that Chinese guy who shot the guy on the roof, right? I can see as a cop you going up to the roof and seeing somebody and panicking. The truth of the matter is, why the fuck are you in my building at 11:30 at night on the roof? Right? Think about it. Think about this. If you live in South Carolina, North Carolina, Atlanta, Florida, imagine a cop just being in your house when you turn around and saying he was scared. Motherfucker, I live here. How you could be scared? You should be scared. This is my house. This is where I live. You know what they tell you? This is city property and I can do what I want. So you get this guy who don't live in the city, never lived in the city, don't understand the culture, don't know nobody, going up in the dark on the roof at night with his gun out by himself. What do you think the probability of something go bad is? Right? People don't never look at that. Listen to me, man. It's dangerous out here. As my man Bono say, stay sharp.